A scene from Stranger Things Season 5 has been teased. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another Stranger Things video. So today I'm talking about yet another update as the Stranger Things writers Twitter account continues to tweet things out and play with our emotions. But before I dive into this, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below what you think is going on in this tweet that I'm about to talk about. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It will mean a lot. And check out the Unusual Couple podcast link down below for weekly podcast episodes with myself and my girlfriend Cam. We have tons of fun with it. Alright, so if you've been following along for the past few weeks, I've made a few videos now regarding the Stranger Things writers Twitter account teasing some things. First, it started with the "We're Back" tweet when the writer's strike ended, and then we got this previs gif of Steve Harrington from the first episode of Season 5, and recently the Stranger Things writers Twitter account has put out a new gif that is a scene involving Jonathan and Steve. The tweet reads, "They did Charlie dirty," which is obviously referring to Charlie Heaton, who plays Jonathan, because his character in this gif honestly looks like a Neanderthal. Like, if you were studying something like evolution in biology class, this is what the textbook drawing of like a caveman would look like. So they're not wrong. The previs has done Charlie Heaton extremely dirty because he looks nothing like that in real life. And on paper, this is just a throwaway joke, but there's a lot more to it when you actually look at the gif. For starters, this is definitely from Season 5, Episode 1, The Crawl. As you notice, Steve is wearing the same exact outfit that he is in the earlier gif the Duffers tweeted out when they were saying, "This is technically your first look at Season 5 from Episode 1. Well, this is clearly from the same episode, if not the same scene. So this could answer the question we had earlier, who is Steve looking at with this eyebrow-raised reaction? It's likely Jonathan, because it seems like the two of them are working together to possibly fix some sort of power generator, maybe get the power up and running in a shelter, or perhaps they're just working together as part of the plan for whatever the episode is. We'll have to wait and see what the actual plot details are. However, this is huge because Steve and Jonathan haven't had many scenes together over the course of the show. The last time they were really in a lot of prominent scenes together was Season 1, which further solidifies the fact that the Duffers are sticking to their word and going back to the Season 1 dynamics in the final season of the show. They've been saying that in interviews for a while now, where they're like, hey, we want to take Season 5, like, obviously it's the final big season of the show, but we want to go back to the roots of this show with character groupings, and to me, this further proves that. You've got Steve and Jonathan together. Now, not pictured in this scene is Nancy, and I would assume that she's going to be involved with these two a lot, because they're one of the character groupings near the end of Season 1. They're obviously at the Byers house when they take on the Demogorgon, and they've always had great chemistry. They're a love triangle, literally, so I think they're really going to round out these characters in this final season of the show. But before any more speculation, let's talk about the gif itself. So the shot is from behind Jonathan, and it's showing Steve's face. They're having some sort of conversation, and Jonathan is like holding two wires together. So my assumption would be they're trying to figure out how to get the power up and running for something important to the plot. And then instead of Jonathan just touching the two wires together, we cut to just Jonathan's face, and Steve smacks his wrist down, and a light on the generator turns from red to green. So I'm sure it's going to make for a great comedic bit where Jonathan's like, "Are you sure it's blue to red?" or whatever. You know, the classic trope in movies where it's like they're trying to hotwire something or get some power up and running. They don't know which cord to use, and Steve probably just smacks the damn thing and says, "That's how it's done." I can already see that scene playing out just like that. It just has the writings of like a classic Steve moment all over it. But what's fascinating to me is how Steve and Jonathan are together in Episode 1, because where we leave off at the end of Season 4, Jonathan is with Nancy, Hopper, Will, Mike, and Joyce on that hilltop looking over at Hawkins and Ruins. Steve is with Dustin at the school, so they're not together, meaning the group will have to come together in that first episode. Now, I'm sure these are going to be over hour-long episodes the final season, but I figured maybe for the first episode or two, the group would be like separated and they would have to get back together, but this is showing me that out the gate in The Crawl, the groups are going to come together, and it's going to be like this entire season, the group is together. No longer will we split up like we were in seasons, 3 and 4 with our different character groupings. We're going to be one big group, and we're just going to break off into little side missions at times. But for the most part, it's focus on the big group of characters together, because they don't really have room to go on side quests. They're trying to take down Vecna and destroy the Upside Down once and for all, making everything normal again. So they're all going to be together for the most part. Now, the fact that we see Steve and Jonathan together excites me, because it does make me think we're going to get the final answer regarding Stancy or Jancy. Steve and Nancy, or Jonathan and Nancy. It's been a debate with the fans for a while now. I personally think it'd be more satisfying to see Stancy ultimately, but I think there's a world where they just don't go either route, and everyone sort of ends the show single, looking to sort of start a new life, and maybe it was all just a phase. I don't think Jonathan and Nancy are the end game. I think Steve loves Nancy more than Nancy would ever love Steve, so there might be just a world where they all part ways, and none of them end up together. Or perhaps one of them bites the dust. In fact, I'm gonna sit here right now and tell you guys, Jonathan, Nancy, or Steve is dying. One of those three characters will not make it out of the show alive. And I've been saying this for a while now, but this GIF adds evidence to this claim. I just totally see the Duffer Brothers making Steve and Jonathan the most unexpectedly awesome duo of the season. Like, they've silently been romantic rivals throughout the entire show, but they're gonna come together and they're gonna be bros and just have this unexpected chemistry that works. You go back to season 1, they're fighting in the alleyway, they hate each other. They come full circle in season 5 and they just have the best chemistry. I would love that. And then of course you've got Nancy kind of pitted between the two. And now I'm going to pitch a scenario that's going to break your heart. Because they're friends now and Nancy sees that, what if she sacrifices herself for both of them? And then we just see Stancy and Jancy both obliterated in front of our eyes, but Jonathan and Steve become lifelong friends. I could totally see that being the outcome where it's like, damn, Jonathan and Steve can just bond over their relationships and memories of Nancy, but no one gets her in the end and she ends up sacrificing herself. It wouldn't surprise me because the world wants us to think it's going to be Steve who makes a sacrifice play. Nancy would be a lot less expected. People have even said, oh, Jonathan sacrificed himself for Will. Nancy is not safe. We almost saw that at the end of season 4. In fact, that could be teasing us because she was the only one to get that vision at the end from Vecna. That's all I'm saying. Nancy is not safe. But all that's to say, it is very likely one of these three characters is biting the dust, and it's very promising that we do see Jonathan and Steve together. I hope we get more of these previs gifts from the Duffer Brothers on Twitter, because shout out the Stranger Things writers account. They're on point when it comes to giving us our news on Twitter and in the Stranger Things world. But I would love to see these gifts for like every single character grouping, and then when the trailers eventually come out and the show comes out, we could just do a side-by-side comparison to see, did anything actually make the final cut? How much of this is different? Were they just teasing us all along to try and give us content during the void we're in right now? Who's to say? But it's really fun to just sit here and speculate and theorize about a show that we all love so much. Like, I'm damn near considering another rewatch of Stranger Things. I already did it a few months ago, but I love the show that much. And no other show really could get me this pumped, releasing 3D animation GIFs of how the directors visualize a scene going down. Years probably before we ever actually see it. All I know is a scene from the first episode has been teased not once but twice now, and it seems like this could become a more common occurrence. So make sure to stay tuned here on my YouTube channel, my other social medias on TikTok and Instagram especially, to see the updates, as I will do little deep dive videos like this into pretty much anything they tweet out, because I love talking about it and I want to continue to build this hype train for season 5. I know you guys are excited, I'm excited. Let's keep this thing rolling with Stranger Things content. But that's going to do it for this quick update. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit that like button, comment down below what you think's going on in this scene. Do you think Stancy or Jancy will ultimately win out? Who do you think is the most likely to die of Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy? Let me know that in the comments down below. But subscribe to that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. Check out the Unusual Couple podcast, link down below. And as always, stay tuned for more Stranger Things content and content in general coming very soon. But until next time, I'll see you guys on the other side of the Upside Down.